Hello, thanks for joining this on-demand training for Lync 2013 Online Meeting Basics. Our agenda today is to show you how to create Lync meetings and then give you some basics for presenting. I will share some additional online resources as we wrap up. So let's begin with Outlook, where you schedule your meetings, set your meeting options, and potentially even add some shared notes. So you'll go to your Outlook calendar. And up at the top of your Outlook calendar, you'll see the Lync icon to schedule a new Lync meeting. Go ahead and click on that icon, and you'll see a meeting request opens up. Now, that meeting request is very much like any Outlook meeting request, in that you can set it up for a particular time and date, invite people, putting their email addresses in the field up above. You can put the subject of the meeting, and the location is automatically filled in as a Lync meeting. That lets everybody know that you're having a virtual meeting rather than a face-to-face meeting. Again, since this is Outlook, you can utilize the scheduling assistant and find out when is a good time for most people. You can also set this up as a recurring meeting if you need to have, let's say, a weekly type meeting. So inside the meeting request, you'll notice there's a link to join. That's going to give you the visuals of the meeting, and embedded inside that link is also the computer audio. Down below that, you might very well see some telephone numbers, and that's called dial-in conferencing. Not everybody has dial-in conferencing. If you do have it, what that means is that your attendees can either use computer audio or they can dial in by phone. Either way, they can dial in, and the audio is going to be connected on the back end. You don't have to do a thing to connect the computer audio and the telephone audio. So, you're getting ready to set up this meeting. Before you send it off, go check out the meeting options and make sure they're set as you would like. So meeting options are found at the top of the meeting request. If you click there, you'll see there are a couple of different pages. The first one is permissions. And you can set things like whether you want to have a new or dedicated meeting space. You can select people to bypass the lobby. You can also select people to be presenters. And you can limit the participation of your attendees. Let's walk through those options. Up at the very top of that permissions page, you can set up a new meeting space or a dedicated meeting space. A new meeting space has a separate URL every single time. It's a separate meeting space. A dedicated meeting space has one URL all the time. It's essentially the same virtual meeting room over and over again. For myself, I like a new meeting space each time. That way, if I have back-to-back meetings, they're separate. New people aren't going to barge in on me. So if you need some help in deciding, you can always click over here and take a look at the options there. One other thing I do want to mention, in terms of a new meeting space, the permissions are controlled by you. If you just use your dedicated meeting space, then you're not going to have control over who can be a presenter. You're just going to have the defaults that your company has set for you. So, the next item on the list of permissions is items about the lobby. So who can bypass the lobby? So these people don't have to wait in the lobby. Nobody or anybody. So no one has to wait in the lobby. Everybody gets right in. That's what I usually use. I have people come directly into my meeting. Once they get there, if they've connected on computer audio, they can talk to me. I can talk to them. If they dial in on the phone, they can talk to me, I can talk to them. If I kept them out in the lobby, then I could let them in when I wanted. I'd allow one person in at a time, perhaps. Maybe I would have a private pre-conference with one person where I'm talking to that one person, maybe even showing them things. And if everybody else is in the lobby, I know that they can't see and they can't hear what we're talking about. So again, if you ever get confused, you can click on why do I use this, and you'll get some very good recommendations. Let's talk about who gets to be a presenter. You get to decide that. Of course, you'll be a presenter. It's your meeting. But you can let everyone be a presenter if you want, so that everybody can collaborate pretty easily. Everybody can share their desktop or upload PowerPoints as needed. Now, you can choose specific people. This might be appropriate for a big meeting. You're inviting 150 people to your meeting, and you need someone there to help you manage those people. They probably have questions. Maybe the second presenter will be there just to answer questions. So you can choose a specific person from whom you've invited over here, adding them to the presenter column, clicking OK, and that person, when they join the meeting, will be designated as a presenter. They can manage the lobby. They can add attachments. They can present the content. That might be a nice backup if you have a very important meeting and something goes wrong. You've got a backup there, somebody who can help you out. There's some rules as well you can set up here in terms of presenters. You can say that anybody from my organization gets to be a presenter. For myself as a trainer, this is very helpful. I do that so that if one of my colleagues needs to jump in, they can do it really easily. So you may want to limit the participation of your attendees. So you can mute all your attendees. That will not affect presenters. You can also block them from using their video. Again, that doesn't affect presenters. And you may very well wish to disable the instant message. That would prevent all of that chatting going on during your meeting. So just be aware that you can do this ahead of time. I also want to let you know that if you don't, you can always change your mind during the meeting, muting everybody if you feel like you need it during that meeting. So those are all the options here on the Presenters tab. We can take a look at the Phones tab. Things here are fairly limited. So essentially, if you have the dial-in conferencing, you can choose a telephone number that may be local for most people, and then allow them to dial in on a local number. Or you can also get your PIN here from this tab. So the PIN probably won't be needed for most situations. I'm guessing that most people will use the computer audio, but the PIN is there if you, as the owner of the meeting, the leader of the meeting, if you need to dial in from a phone. Let's say that you're in a conference room and you're gathered with other people. It wouldn't be so good to put on your computer headset in that situation. You might want to use the conference room phone. And this is exactly why you need a PIN. The PIN just identifies you as the leader of that call, and it gives you some keypad commands where you can, if you need to, mute your whole audience. While you're here setting up your meeting, before you send it off, you might wish to attach some shared OneNotes. So this is perhaps something you would do if you had an agenda already typed up onto a OneNote page. You can go ahead and click here, share notes with the meeting, attach your OneNote page, and it'll be there, and people will have a link and they can click on it, and if they want, they can add some agenda items. They have access to that note page and can modify it ahead of the meeting, and then during the meeting you can pop that note page in and everyone can take notes on that shared OneNote space. All right, so you've sent off your meeting, it shows up on your Outlook calendar, other people have said they're going to come. How do you join your meeting, and how do you connect to audio? And also, what about the people who are not in your company, who might need to join via the Lync web app? Let's discuss those things. So when you join your meeting, you can open up your calendar and click on the meeting invitation, and you can open up and look at the link and join that way. Or you can join from those little reminders that pop up within Outlook. So here it is inside the meeting invitation. If you open it up on your calendar, just click on the link. And what happens when you click there is that you're prompted about the audio. So it asks you, would you like to use Lync, or would you like to say no thanks and maybe just dial in on the phone? So in most instances, I find that using the Lync audio is the easiest. I just put on my headset, it's got a microphone, and I'm ready to go. So you're going to have that prompt to choose whether you want to have the Lync audio or the telephone audio. Make your choice, and then do know that some people might join you via web app. So let's say you've invited someone who doesn't use Lync. Their experience is going to be a little different. So they're going to click on the link to join the meeting, and there's going to be a search on their computer to look for the Lync software. They don't have it, so they're going to be given the opportunity to join your meeting via their web browser. So it's a browser-based experience. And I recommend highly that you encourage those people to install the web app plugin. It pops up right when they join, and it's really a good idea because of two things. Number one, they can use computer audio with that plugin, and the other reason is that when you share your desktop, they'll be able to see it. So that particular kind of sharing, if they don't install the plugin, they won't be able to see it. So for those reasons, I definitely recommend that plugin. Their experience is going to be very similar to yours. Again, if they install the plugin, they can see your video cam if you're using that. They can even turn on their own video cam. Let's talk about the different meeting views, sharing content, and presenter tools. When you first get into a meeting, down in the right-hand corner, you'll see an icon that allows you to adjust the view. Now, the speaker view is going to show the person who is currently using the audio. It detects the Lync audio, and it broadcasts that person's picture or their webcam, depending upon what you're using. If you haven't turned on your webcam, your photo is going to show down there in the corner. Now, you can move that out of the corner if you'd like. You can just hover, and you'll see that you can pop it out and drag it around. So that's the speaker view, and that might be appropriate if there's one presenter, and that presenter has their video turned on, and people want to look at the presenter while they're talking. So you'll notice there are some other views here as well. Again, the icon is down to the lower right. The next view is the gallery view. So the gallery view would show more than one person. So this might be more appropriate for a very interactive meeting where there are a number of people speaking. The most active people are going to be shown in these big pictures in that gallery view up above. Again, that can be popped out. Just hover your mouse and you'll see the icon to pop it out, and you can move it around. Now, there's other views as well. I personally like the presentation view. Sometimes it's called content view in some of the later updates. So this simply allows you to see the presentation, whatever it is that's the visual content. So it could be somebody doing a share of their desktop, or it could be a PowerPoint, something that's a little bit more formal. And then we have one final view. This is the compact view. And this view is going to be predominant when you don't have any content that you're looking at. When you're just having a meeting, essentially where you're talking, you can see people's photos, and better yet, if they turn on their cameras, you can just see the individual cameras, and you can see up to 5 people at a time, 5 active participants. So lots of different views. Feel free to adjust those views depending upon what your goals are, what kind of meeting you might be having. Now, when you get it settled, what you want to do is adjust your view probably first, and then use these buttons down at the bottom left to actually adjust the elements that you want to see. So you can view the conversation window here, or not, or you can view the participant roster or not. And you can also manage the audio and manage the content from these buttons. Let's look at these a little bit more specifically. If you have a PowerPoint that you want to upload, you may want to do that here in the Content button on the Present tab, uploading a PowerPoint. Now, if you're having more of a collaborative meeting, you might just be sharing your desktop. That's easy enough to do. The stage opens up once you start sharing something. So whether it's a PowerPoint or sharing your desktop or a whiteboard or a poll. Those are other elements that you can add. So you can drop in a polling slide, put in a whiteboard for collaborative purposes. And there's a new tab here all about Q&A. So if you do have a big meeting where you want to manage the Q&A, let's say with that second presenter as we discussed, that might be a great tool. That'll open up a Q&A tab that any presenter can see. So there'll be 2 tabs now in your meeting, and you can funnel the questions onto that Q&A tab. It won't be quite as distracting as the instant message area. So if you want to bring in content and present that content again, use the content button to upload a PowerPoint. It does show up over here on the stage. You can use annotations with it. So annotations are over here to the right. One thing I'd like to mention is that those annotations are not fully expanded. You have to click on the button there to expand and see all the tools that you have at your disposal. So you have a pointer tool. You also have a text tool and drawing tools that you can use to really point people's eyes to the content that you want them to look at. You can embed video in your PowerPoints. All you have to do is hover over the slide to play the embedded file. And if you want, you can manage that presentation to make it available for others to download. If you'd like to collaborate, a whiteboard would be a good tool. Drop in the whiteboard. Everybody has use of the annotations now, and everybody can type or draw whatever is necessary. Those whiteboards, by the way, can be saved. Now, here's where you're going to work with those shared notes again, using the content area under OneNote, adding the shared note resource. So everybody's maybe updated the meeting agenda, and then you can share that OneNote, and everyone during the meeting can be adding to the notes as you go. So that's a really nice tool. You still have the ability to take your own personal notes if you'd like, if you don't want to share them with everyone. Now, you can make content available for download, content that you've uploaded as presentation materials. I like to bring in attachments for my attendees. It's a separate area, and it's a specific area for people to take away some content. So maybe I'll turn my PowerPoint into a PDF document and upload it over here to my attachments. I'll just click on Add Attachment, and that content pops in there. My attendees can see it. Again, when they click on the content area over on the Attachments tab, they can see it, click on it, and save it on their computer. So you can use Lync for a variety of different meeting purposes. I'd like to talk a little bit about how you engage people, how you control your audio and manage your meeting participants to effectively achieve your particular goals. So in a very collaborative meeting, you probably want everyone to have control over their own audio. They can click on the button down here to mute and unmute themselves. So you'd probably leave that open, and for 4 or 5 people, you're probably not going to have a lot of background noise. If you need to adjust your device on your own audio, you can hover and go over to the Device tab, and that will allow you to funnel the sound through different devices. Notice here that we have a headset that's plugged in. Lync is smart. It recognizes that headset, and if you want to funnel the sound through your headset with a noise-reducing microphone, wonderful. You can do that. Or if you'd like to be able to walk around your office and hear that meeting audio through your PC mic and speakers, absolutely, you could do it that way. That's on the Devices tab when you hover over that icon that looks like a phone handset. So that's your audio controls. Video can be added to your meeting as well. Here, just hover over your video button, and you'll see a preview, which is nice because that'll allow you to check things and make sure it looks okay. And then when you're ready to share your video, you just click there to share. And now those views, the gallery view and the speaker view, become really interesting. They're no longer static pictures if everybody turns on their webcam. So this is HD video. It's good quality video. You'll be able to see the people that you're speaking with having a video call. I would recommend that you take advantage of the gallery view when you're having a lot of people use their webcams. Now, managing your meeting is easy. Under the People menu, if you want to mute people, you can. Let's say that suddenly there's some background noise. You can just mute your whole audience. And then you can also do other things here. You can make everybody an attendee. If they're all presenters and you realize they need to be attendees, you can change that. You can block their video here. So those are all here under Actions. If you want to take actions that affect just one person, what you'll want to do is right-click on one person's name in your attendee roster, and then you can mute that one person. You'll see a menu comes up. Now, one little detail about this button. If you just click on the button, it changes the view of your participants. I like the roster view. It's just a nice list of names, right? I like that. If you want to click on that button again, you'll see that the view changes so that you're seeing people's pictures rather than just that roster view. So now you know how to manage your own audio and other people's audio. Again, managing your own audio, you click here to mute yourself. If you're managing other people, you can mute everybody, or you can right-click and mute individually. Let's wrap things up. I want to share some online resources and further training opportunities. We do have the Getting Started with Lync site and the quick reference cards. Those are really helpful. You may want to bookmark these sites and use them as needed. And then if you'd like to join us for further on-demand trainings, you can find them here. You can also join us for live trainings where you can ask questions and interact with other people in the training. So thank you so much for watching this training session, and I wish you all the best of luck using Microsoft Lync.